So without further ado, please welcome to the stage, Joden Turner.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, KBA. Thank you also, Alicia, for sponsoring. I don't know where you went, but thank you very much. My name's Joe. I think I've met many of you in the past, and my job in the next 20 minutes or so is to entertain you and amaze you with a number of the skills and abilities that kept me from dating in high school. So this is going to be really fun for you and kind of a tragic flashback for me. We'll see how it goes. Feel free to interrupt at any time to scan my QR code. That'll be fun. I'd love to connect with you on all of your social channels. I'm on everything. I'm on Insta. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter X. I'm on still on MySpace. It's pretty lonely, but it's I'm on two cans with a string. I'm on that one. So anyway, when I was a kid, I was wanting to learn how to do magic. The books all said you should start by developing digital dexterity. So I went to Mom's Purse and got some change. The book said you should put it on the back of your hand, open and close your hand so that you see if you can do that without dropping the coin. So I did that, and then the book said put it on the first knuckle. And try to isolate the movement of the second finger, lift it up vertical, and then let it flop over to the next finger. And to do that, see if you can do that with all of your fingers. And the book said that if you did that, for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, over time, it would get smoother and faster and faster and smoother. And the book said if you did this long enough, people would clap. Yeah, 18 minutes to go. My friends were like you. They were like, "Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's dexterous, but it's really more like juggling. Magic is more when something disappears from one place and reappears somewhere else. That would be magic if you put it in your one elbow and it comes out the other side." My friends like you, no response whatsoever. They were like, no, it's two. They were like, oh, clearly, you're using sleight of hand. You're concealing the coin in your hand somehow, or maybe up your sleeve, even though you roll up your sleeve. But clearly, you're hiding it. If only you had some barrier, a barrier made of titanium, or steel, or silk, so that when you put the coin in your hand, you would know it's not going through the fingers, it's not going up the sleeve. Then and only then, when the coin disappeared, could we believe it was magic. And that is a pretty good trick, don't you agree? Okay, so I didn't date much in high school, but I will say that by the time I got to college, if you could make like a drink up here out of thin air, then suddenly you have a Now he's good. Okay, let's slide. I'd like you to think about that moment when the bottle appears. That's a great moment. That moment when the world sort of stops working the way that you're used to. When rules are broken, that's a very interesting moment. Not just for magic, but for the way that we do business. And in a situation where I might have the opportunity to do my full keynote, I like to go into 5 different kinds of amazing experiences that are analogous to the way magicians perform on stage and mentalists and so forth, and what lessons we can draw to the way that we operate our business. And some people in this room have heard me do the full keynote. And for those who haven't, we can rectify that. But for today, in the short time that I have, I just want to start by saying people crave communication, they crave connection, and they crave competence. And it is our instinct to open with competence. And I think that's a good instinct. I mean, even if you go back to the vaudeville days, You know, when that person only had 8 minutes and their whole life revolved around those 8 minutes. Those opening 20 or 30 seconds were critical. You want to open with competence. But if you dwell on that before you establish connection, then your business isn't going to be as successful as it could be. And so, drawing insights like that from a performing arts standpoint and applying them to the way that you run a small business, a large business, a nonprofit, can be very interesting. I don't have time to go through all of it, but I do see the look on your face that you would like to see another magic trick. So let's go magic trick. I can feel like, get on with it, preacher. We're going to go. So I'm going to borrow some items from some people in the audience. Does anyone in the audience, hold up your hand. Just raise your hand if you've ever seen me speak before in previous, so many of you have seen me, at least many of you have not. Where you've been. I've been doing this for 23 years. Thanks for having me. I'm actually checking off the box, being at KBA today. It's the one business association I haven't had a chance to speak to. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for having me. I need to borrow some items from the audience. It could be from a man, it could be from a woman. I need to borrow. She's like, no, not me. I'm not going to take your purse, man. Let's relax. That's after the show. I'd like to borrow a finger ring. Are you wearing a ring, wedding ring? Oh, that's a little bit. Congratulations. Oh, thank you very much. What's your name? Cassandra. This is a beautiful ring. I want everyone to see it's gold. It's heavy, and she just handed it to me with no hesitation whatsoever, no idea what I was going to do with it. We'll see how this goes. Cassandra, I'll come back to you in a moment. Let's see. It's got an interesting design on it. It looks like figure eights. Sorry? Filigree. That's a very complicated word for a Mississippi State graduate, which is where I am. Let's move on. How about this one? Are you wearing a ring? Are you wearing a figure ring? Can I borrow it temporarily? Well, that came off easy. I never know. I mean, it's getting cooler and it's easier to take things off. Is anybody over here? Are you wearing a ring? Are you wearing a finger ring? Are you wearing that's massive. Maybe something a little less. This is perfect. And that's good. So I have different metals to work with as well. So I've got 3 rings made of different metals and different design. And I'm going to try to create an experience for all of us right now. For most of us, this will be a metaphorical experience. An experience about the importance of connection, which we are all very familiar with, being active in our networking organizations. For 3 of us in the room, it will be the moment we realized we were going home with new people. Let's just see if we can create that moment right now. Okay, who's my first person here? Owen, can you point and see? It saves time on borrowing. Do you see that? Is your brain literally linked onto the other through the band? You can see no hinges or anything like that. So that was Cassandra's ring, and then that brings me to who was next?
This gentleman.
Right here. What was your name?
Corey.
Can you see your ring is linked onto the gold ring?
Uh-huh.
And then last but not least, I have, is it titanium?
It's titanium.
Yeah. And you can see it's linked on this. Amazing. A round of applause to my 3 contributors to our amazing experience. I feel like they want me to maybe put this in reverse so that we can go back to where we started. So let me go right here. Mark. Wait, yours is the titanium. It's down there. Let's see if I can put that. Gray. And could I ask ask you to come up and get your ring. Round of applause for you. Just a little thank you for being part of the show today. And then we've got two more people. Can I ask them to come toward the stage? Jamie? Corey, stand right there so that everyone can see. You can come a little closer. Watch carefully. I just want as many people in the room to see this as possible. You see your ring? You see your ring? Watch carefully. 1, 2, 3. I'll let you take your ring. Don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for being part of today's program. Round of applause for all of my volunteers who have demonstrated to us the importance of making connections. Hey, John. Let's see. Oh, time is flashing very quickly. I asked 3 people in the room to write down on a business card the name of a city anywhere in the world that they might like to visit. I asked them not to tell anyone or to put it in any kind of app or write it just on a business card, which they have folded in quarters with the city on the inside. If you have one of those, please hold it in the air. So I know I have 3 of you. You still have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to ask you just to drop it in my right jacket pocket. It was Ryan, and I'll take that pen. Thank you. Fantastic, thank you. And then over, here. And, well, looks like he's making an adjustment. I don't want to see him. He's writing. So I'm going to come over to, it was Debbie in the back. Debbie, if you'll, I'll take the pen first, and then drop the card in my pocket there, so there's no way I can see. And then last but not least, was Jacob?
Yeah.
Yes? So drop the card in there, and I'll take the pen. And then you have a very important job, Jacob. Hold up with one finger, any finger. Thank you for that. I realized I put a bigger, if you put it in my pocket, all the way to the bottom, and stir. That's good, that's it. And that way, the people who have been watching, they're like, well, maybe he saw that they put it toward the front, or she put hers toward the back, or he put. Now we know that they're all in different places. I'm going to try to find all 3. I'm going to find these whose city is whose. I'm going to do this by lie detection, right? Hopefully I've demonstrated some competence. Hopefully we've established some connection by now. Now I'm going to get into judging. I'm going to see if I can tell whose city is whose by lie detection. So I'm going to open one of these up. There's one. And I'm going to read the city out loud. And they're all going to, I'm going to ask them if this is their city. And they're all going to say no, which means that 2 of them will be telling the truth, and 1 of them will be lying. And I will try to figure out who's lying. Because no matter how I phrase it, you're going to say no. No matter how I decorate it or fancy it up, you're going to say no. All right? Do you understand the rules? No. Very good. So here we go. I'm going to ask all 3 people if this is their city, and they're all going to say no. Ryan, did you choose Portland?
No.
Jacob, did you choose Portland? Debbie, did you choose Portland? Ryan, did you choose Portland? Ryan, are you sure you didn't choose Portland? Ryan, you know how I can tell you're telling the truth? Because Jacob is a big fat liar. He put Portland. Give a round of applause to Jacob. Let's take the next one. I don't want to look at it. People are like, well, these magicians, maybe he's got some kind of system so he knows. So if you will, just open it up so I can't even see it. And now I can't tell by the writing or anything like that. You're just going to say the city. I'm going to tell both of these people that city. and we're gonna see if we're on target. So, what's the city? Tombstone. So I'm gonna ask both of them if they chose Tombstone. I assume Arizona. I don't know, but I'm gonna ask them both. They're both gonna say no. And I'm gonna see if I can figure out who is lying and who's telling the truth. Now, the mathematically inclined in the room may have noticed that my odds have improved. But I still have to get it right. It is showing that. So I'm gonna ask them both if it's Tombstone. Ryan, did you choose Tombstone?
No.
And Debbie, did you choose Tombstone?
No.
I don't know how many of you saw Debbie, but she was really trying to sell it. She was like shaking her head and a little bit of hair going on it. And but I believe you. I believe you. I'm going to go for Ryan chose Tombstone. And I'll take the card. And Ryan, if that is correct, please raise your hand in the air. And I'll hand you your card. Round of applause for Ryan. Debbie's going to come up because obviously we know who belongs to the last city. So I don't have to worry about this. I know it's you. So we're going to try to take this to the next level. If you'll come up on stage, all this applause is for and if you will, please reach back in and grab your card, hold it in your fist. Hold your fist above your head. Don't open, just keep it closed. Hold it above your head. You wrote this down on a business card. You didn't put it in an app. You haven't told anyone. It exists only in your mind. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm going to try to tell you the city you're thinking of. So please picture it in your mind. If you have been there, have you been there before?
No.
You've not been to this. Okay. This may be more difficult to picture this. If you have any kind of image, is it coastal?
Yes.
It's coastal. It's the water. And I'm also getting that this is not like Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine. I wasn't sure which of those. They're both coastal, but this is not a domestic city. This is an international city. You're thinking of, I would say, to the east, it is a European city, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm not familiar with this. Is it, say the name in your mind. 2 words. It is a 2-word city. There wasn't, it is it's in France. It is in France. It's a French city on the coast. Saint-Malo, is that correct?
Yeah.
Put your hand down. A big round of applause. So, we've got to wrap this thing up. I'm going to bring this plane in for a minute. I tried to demonstrate to you today 3 different types of magical illusions. One of them was about competence, opening strong. One of them was about the importance of making connections. And one of them was about the importance of establishing communication. And I would just challenge you to think about the way that when you introduce your brand to organizations, networking events, or to clients that are coming in, whether they're coming through your website, whether they're coming through social media, what is the first experience they have? Hopefully, they recognize competence early. But I would just challenge you to push on to communicating with them to build connection and then go back to the competence. And that is a formula that has worked for me for the last 23 years. My time is up. My name is Joe Turner. Thanks for having me.